Hello, hello, hello again. So this is my next video on my request list. This is for, is it Kaylin or Callan Clayton? So this is for you and anyone else that is a life path 8 with a talent number in the expression number 3. Now your life path 8 is the most important number in your chart. It's like the king of your kingdom, and all other numbers in your chart exist to support this number or this king of your chart. So you're going to have challenges in the life path 8. You know what you're here to achieve in the life path 8 is you're not a life path 8 yet. You're working towards being a life path 8. But what you already are is a talented expression number 3, very social, very dynamic, very expressive, very creative in your way, which could be used to help you pursue your life path 8 in many different ways. But of course, there's going to be some difficulties in your talent. All talent creates a weakness in some way. And there's going to be some elements of your expression that assist your life path 8 and some elements of your expression number 3 that could hinder in some way if it's allowed to happen. So what I'm going to do is we're going to talk about what you're here to achieve. Then we're going to talk about what talents you bring with you to help you achieve that life path 8. And then I'm going to break the life path 8 down into between 9 and 10 sections. I think it's 10. And all these elements that you need to achieve in the life path 8 on the left-hand side of the chart, with how the expression number 3 can help or hinder that element on the right-hand side. So let's get started here. So the life path 8. So when you're a life path 8, your areas of development or your tasks to achieve or your purpose in this lifetime are about developing the ability to achieve in the world and be successful. Now, you're here also not just to be successful in the world, but to use your spirituality as well, because the life path 8 has the potential to have one foot in the spiritual. So they could channel intuition and information from source energy and use their strong intuition to help them to achieve more successfully in the world and create the financial abundance and that they need to achieve in this lifetime, and then use that abundance, not just financial, emotional, social, financial, as a tool to help and support other people rather than, using their abundance on status symbols or not helping others with their emotional abundance. Okay, because emotional abundance and giving people your time can be as important as financial, but the life path 8 is very much about the business and using those finances or those resources, that confidence, to help others to also become successful. So you're here to be a successful business person in a nutshell, really. You must also develop the ability to lead, develop balanced personal power. You're here to learn to be a world-class leader, pretty much. Excellent leadership skills with your inner confidence fed by your intuition is what you need to achieve, so that you're not too dominant and you're definitely not too submissive in this world, and you can lead people like a world-class leader. Now, you're going to find all that I've just said difficult because you're a life path 8. Being successful in business could be a difficulty. Your attitude to money could be a difficulty. You may spend too much money on status symbols, and with the expression number 3, you could bring in some selfishness there. And the 3 talent isn't necessarily driven to leadership, so there may be some difficulties for you learning to be that world-class leader, but that's the difficulties you're here to achieve in this lifetime, because your talents in the 3 are more about positive, verbal, creative, and authentic emotional in your expression. Authentic emotional in your expression. I'll say that again. You're about positive verbal expression, creative and positive emotional expression. To an audience, to a group of people, to inspire, to teach them, to inspire change. The expression number 3 is your ultimate performer, speaker, and creative artist, whether that be in art, whether that be in dance or sport or acting, or some 3s are very talented at extreme sports, and or just being a sportsman. It's in whatever way you can creatively express yourself, whether with your words, your hands, your body. It's about expressing that and being happy in front of an audience. You're talented at that. You're happy to enjoy the limelight, which is great when you need to be a leader. You're happy to stand up in front of people. You're interdependent. You're dynamic by nature, very talented, courageous doer. executor of ideas. So for the 8 to need to get things done and achieve in this world, there are many talents in the expression number 3 that you can draw upon to help you achieve that life path 8. To be, I mean, you're a talented networker, so you can bring in opportunities for your life path 8. You're opportunistic, you're talkative, you're fun to be around. You know, you can draw people in, and this all can be used to help develop your business and abundance success in this lifetime. But of course, there's going to be some elements of the expression 3, like work inconsistency and a few other things than that, and potential laziness that can hinder. You see, the 3 can struggle sometimes to enter the working world, and the life path 8 can struggle to enter the working world. So I don't know how you coped, Mr. Clayton, or anyone else that is a life path 8 expression number 3, but you may have had some difficulty or still be having difficulty finding your focus and connecting with the working world, or you may have had that difficulty in the past. You know, I'd be interested to know if you have, or how bad that was for you. Right, so life path number 8 broken down. So again, you're both spiritual and worldly, and you can use that spiritual connection to help you achieve in the world. You know, channeling your intuition and wisdom that you have in the life path 8 to help back up your actions in the world would be really useful for you as a life path 8. But you're here primarily to learn the secrets of worldly financial success that you can take from source energy as well, just so you know. You're here to seek the freedom that comes from financial success. Like the 5, they seek freedom from discipline, but via discipline, which is similar, because via their discipline they'll have the abundance that they need in order to have that freedom. And the 8 is about that too, about achieving and developing that ability to be free, to have that freedom of choice. And of course, that freedom that they're here to achieve comes with it responsibility and ethics. So their ethics will be tested multiple times throughout their lifetime. So Mr. Clayton, if your ethics are challenged, make sure you're following your ethics and thinking about the people around you and the success that you bring to this world. Is everyone going to benefit from it? Are there people that may struggle because of it? You know, it's very much being ethical and responsible with your worldly success and how you make your money. So your life path 8 needs you to learn the secrets of ethical worldly financial success, being an ethical financial businessman. Use your 3 energy. Your 3 energy is going to be useful because you're a natural entrepreneur in the 3 energy, very dynamic, very risk taking, you know, very much the natural opportunistic salesman, opportunistic entrepreneur, and a dynamic expressive actor, you know, expressive doer. You're a talented entertainer, speaker, teacher, salesperson, creative artist, business speaker, both with your words, your hands, your body, and all these things that you're good at can be used to help you bring the financial success that you're here to bring. And you have natural entrepreneurial skills to help you support that, which is great. You know, however, there is, you know, with the 3 energy, they're very much about expressing themselves to the world and can be less about considering other people on a deeper level. So they can be, at their worst, quite irresponsible and too spontaneous, act without thinking kind of thing, be a bit self-indulgent, and above all quite selfish, which could disrupt the 8 from, you know, using their abundance to help them, to help others to develop, or that might cause them to be less responsible and less ethical because of their selfish way of being at their worst, of course. So it's important that you support your life path 8 by developing those beautiful entrepreneurial skills, talents and passions that you have to build an ethical business that is about building ethical, worldly, financial success and abundance. And it's not just about financial abundance, it's about the emotional and the mental and the abundance that you can offer someone just by picking up their shopping from the floor. The 8 is about being abundant and sharing that abundance with others. The 3 can make them a bit selfish and self-indulgent, but they are about, in this lifetime, expressing that outwardly and being very, very conscious and responsible and ethical for those around them. Okay, and they need to build ethical worldly business and make sure that their actions in this world, or the way earning money is ethical and responsible to everyone around them. They're here to learn to use their financial success and their abundance in every other way as a tool to help others to achieve the same success, whether emotional or financial. Because the eight can, they can be very successful. They have the potential to be very successful business people, especially with the entrepreneurial skills of the three behind them. But they can spend their abundance, and with that selfishness, it could be worse. Spend your abundance on materialistic status symbols rather than using it as a tool to invest in to help others. So your life path 8 needs you to use your financial and your other abundances that you have, emotional and mental, to help others more, not just for yourself or your own personal status symbols or your own self-indulgences. Your 3 energy likes to help others, especially in a creative, expressive way. They're not overly, it's only at their worst they can be quite selfish. However, they can be at their worst quite self-indulgent, materialistic, which can fuel them buying status symbols rather than sharing their abundance. So watch for that for your client, for you, sorry. It's like I'm talking to another numerologist there. I've been talking to other numerologists far too much and teaching numerology too much. I'm using the jargon that I use for teaching. Sorry about that. However, you can be self-indulgent, materialistic, spending your money on the finer things. You love to live the finer life. The best food, the best clothes, and you love overspending on you, which, it's not an evil thing to do, but you as an 8, you are here to share that a little bit more. If you were a different life path, it's fine. But because you're a life path 8, it's not about just, you can be self-indulgent. No one's telling you to live in a hovel and live in the cold and give all your money away, but you can be over self-indulgent, over materialistic, buy things that you don't need, like the finer things going way over the top, when you could share some of your abundance, both financial and emotional, with others, and then they can expand that even further with their own success. It's like when you buy status symbols, you're kind of locking that energy up in that status symbol. But when you use that money as a tool, it's more, the energy can continue to flow. And that's what the life path 8 is about. It's about not holding that abundance within yourself, within your own material possessions or your own heart. Share that abundance outwards, so that the energy can keep flowing and flowing more from person to person, rather than being locked up in yourself and your materialistic self status symbols. So support your life path 8. You need to work on using your abundance in every way as a tool to help others, both financial, emotional, mental, rather than just as a way of gaining material things or self-indulgences. It's about looking outside yourself a little bit more and helping other people to progress. Keeping the energy flowing is very important for you as a life path 8. You're here to develop a healthy attitude towards money. You may, many 8s resent and hate the wealthy, or feel jealous about the wealthy, or they may feel guilty about their own wealth, or they just have a difficulty with the energy of money. And some 8s can see those with loads of money as unethical, when there's no link between being wealthy and ethics whatsoever. But they can make that link, or they can be the other way around and think that people without money are just lazy. They can just have a difficult opinion when it comes to money, or the people that have, or the people that don't. And they've got to learn to understand that financial wealth, or lack of, it doesn't equate to poor ethics or laziness. It's just a form of energy exchange, and it's important for you as a life path 8 to understand that. So your life path 8 suggests that you may have a poor attitude towards money that might be holding you back. The 3 energy is less likely to feel guilty about their own wealth, because they're quite self-indulgent, and they do like to, look after themselves, and they're quite about themselves. That's not a bad thing. You have to be, if you're not as selfish as you are giving, you'll exhaust yourself. Excuse me, my cat's whinging. Oh, are you demanding some service? Come on in. I'm such a spoiled boy. Sorry about that. There's a cat flap in here. So he comes in here and then demands, when I've got the door locked, he demands exit to go and eat or rest or sleep. You know, he's a very pampered cat in this house. So, financial wealth. It doesn't equate to poor ethics, and your life path 8 suggests that you might have a difficult attitude towards money. But your 3 energy is more blasé about money. They're more likely to be a spendthrift, to be perfectly honest. They're less likely to feel guilty about their own wealth because they like to look after themselves, and that, you know, they don't necessarily link wealth to poor ethics. They're more jealous of other people's wealth at times, because for them, money is a tool for their own comfort and pleasure. If you're a 3, and the more they've got of money, the more they can, you know, for them it's just a tool for them to be hedonistic and to be social and comforted and have the best food and the best stuff around them. Very much a 3 thing. However, if they're not wealthy, because of their selfish, self-indulgent, quite, the 3 loves the finer things, whether they can afford it or not. So they can feel jealous of other people's wealth at times, and maybe have a negative attitude towards money simply because they haven't got it, you know, possibly. But it's about having that healthy attitude towards money and realizing that, you know, wealth doesn't equate to poor ethics, and lack of wealth does not equate to laziness. You know, it's just a form of energy, and some, you know, everybody's different in the way, in what they have, what they're born with, and what they haven't got, what they do have, what they don't have. And it's, you know, it doesn't equate to the person. Money is simply a form of energy. And to support that life path 8, you need to understand that that money is just a form of energy, and it's a tool that can be used ethically, or it's a tool that can be used unethically. The energy of money is just the energy of money, and it can be used both for ethics or for unethics. And you can be rich from doing amazing things in this world, or you can be rich from unethical. But money is not in itself unethical, and those that have it are not unethical. In fact, many people that have money are the best philanthropists in the world and are the most compassionate, giving people in the world. They've just found something and earned themselves some success through it, and that doesn't make them a bad person on any level. They're here to develop a balanced determination for achievement. Remember, the 8 is here to achieve in the world, but they must do it with integrity and for the good of others, you know, and making sure that everything they do, there's not groups of people that are being affected badly by that. But the 8, they can be either obsessed with achievement or fearful of achievement from the get-go. So they can either be out there and doing too much and turn into a bit of a workaholic, or they can completely not be able to enter the working world at all through low self-esteem or a difficult attitude to the world. And it's important that they develop more of a positive mindset, because the 8 attracts what they think about. So if they think negatively and think negatively about the world, it's going to attract that more negative to them. The 8 is very much a potential manifester. So what you think and feel is really important in this lifetime, about being more positive and more go-getting and not negative, because you attract what you think about, especially in the life path 8. You're learning to be a manifester, and the more positive you are, which the 3 will help you with because they're quite positive, the better, because you attract what you think about. So they're here to develop, not be a workaholic. 8s can be a workaholic, or they can be a down and out. You know, they're here to develop a balanced determination for achievement. So the life path 8 suggests that this client, that you, Mr. Clayton, need to balance your need for personal achievement, guard against total obsession and workaholism, or total rejection of achievement and struggling to enter the working world at all. Your energy in the 3, it's entrepreneurial, it's able to achieve, but often inconsistently. And you tend to achieve in your own creative, unscheduled way. And this can bring some balance to your potential for workaholism, but it can also exacerbate the problems with entering the working world, because both the 3 and the 8 can struggle with their confidence about entering the working world in the first place, getting a job and having the confidence to step forward. And not only that, the 3 is unlikely to want traditional achievement. You know, routine, schedule, organizational hierarchy. It's not something that the 3 is going to be talented at working with. The three is about working on their own time, somewhat inconsistently, sometimes into the night and then not in the day. It's quite, they could go days without work and then work for several days without hardly a break. It's quite inconsistent how they work, and it tends to be focused on how they're feeling at the time or how passionate they're feeling at any one time. And this can hinder like the traditional kind of employment and education where you need to kind of work to a schedule. The three expression number is going to struggle with that. And with the three, there could be some struggle when it comes to entering the working world and the consistency that is needed in this traditional working world. And remember, you can also be selfish, you can be self-indulgent, you can procrastinate and not finish creative tasks. And the three often talks the talk, but they don't often or always walk that walk. They can say they're talented at telling people what they're going to do and like really getting people to be inspired by what they say, and they're talented at taking action, but it's going to be inconsistently and they don't always walk the walk. So you need to support that life path 8 by putting your focus. Okay, now focus is going to be difficult for you, but putting your focus into achieving, but ethical achievement with responsibility. With your expressive, you can use your expressive emotional creativity to help you achieve success in the world in your own way. You could be a speaker. It's going to help you to lead. A creative passion that you have, you can, that will bring any creative passions in the three is going to bring out their work ethic, and their entrepreneurial skills. So it's important that you have a passion for what you do, because that passion is going to make you work more consistently. It's going to help you to communicate with others better and be the backbone of any business so that you can achieve the success that you're here to bring. So put your focus into ethical achievement, responsible ethical achievement, and either use it as part of your job or let it be the focus of how you make your money through expressive emotional creativity. You might be a speaker, an actor, an artist, a sportsman, and do that in your own creative way, because it's that creative passion that's going to bring out your work ethic in the three, and it's going to be your passion and not necessarily motivation, depends on your soul urge number, but your passion for what you do is going to support you when you're in expression 3, because the expression number 3, they're really driven by their own emotions and their own passion, and they're not going to be driven by outward expectations or routine or you've got to get this done. They're just not going to work in that way. They've got to want to do what they want to do, and they work in their own way, which again can be a difficulty when you think about how the working world likes us to be. We've got to be in by 9 and work till 5, depending on where you work. And the 3 is not about that kind of routine, not about that kind of schedule, and they're not going to do a repetitious job or getting up at the same time every day. It's not going to be easy for an expression 3 to do, and they might need to be a bit more in the world in order to achieve in the world. But they can use that amazing expressive, emotional, verbal, creative, artistic or physical, whatever it may be, expression to help you make money or to support you while you're making your money. But at the end of the day, you're here to build abundance, and you should work towards that. You're here to develop inner confidence and that balanced personal power that you need to be a leader. You can swing from over dominance or misuse of power at your worst, or to hiding away from others and being submissive and scared to lead, or getting stepped on by other people because you haven't balanced your personal power yet. But that's what you're here to achieve as one of the elements of your life path 8. So your life path 8 suggests that you can be over dominant or over submissive. You haven't necessarily balanced your personal power to the point you need for excellent leadership yet. And you need to balance your confidence using your intuition and your intuitive link and your personal power. Your 3 talent energy at its best is confident, you're social, you're entertaining. It's all about the camaraderie and less about success, unfortunately. But you're also very emotionally explosive, and you absorb the emotions of everyone around you, and you can potentially hold strong emotions, behind a thick wall of silence. And, this can undermine your personal power in many ways. You can be very emotionally explosive at times, and this can drive you to be tyrannical at times. It means, and then people will not look to you as a leader if you keep emotional outbursts are not conducive with leadership. So, balancing your personal power and calming your emotions, there's a way to calm your emotions, and it's not about packing them into a bag and holding them in. It's about allowing yourself to feel those emotions, but being conscious of them. So think about, oh, I feel quite emotional there, or I feel like this. What's triggered that? And taking notice of your emotions throughout the day and your triggers, because this awareness is going to help you to understand and take different ways of being. Think, oh, last time that made me a bit angry. I'm feeling a bit angry this time, but I did think to myself that it was probably a good idea for that to do last time. So maybe I should, maybe channel my emotions more positively. So not holding them in, not stuffing them in a bag, becoming aware of them, aware of the triggers, and being able to channel them in a more healthy way. Okay. So understanding and becoming aware of the circumstances and triggers of your strong emotions. Understand that you've got as much right as anyone to confidently assert your beliefs and needs in an emotionally balanced way, of course. And the more emotionally balanced you become as a 3, the more you're going to feel that inner confidence and charisma and balance that personal power that you need to be that leader that you're here to be. Because you're here to develop skilled leadership that consists of subject competence and competent social skills and the charisma to get people to follow you. Now, so your life path 8 needs you to learn and develop towards throughout your lifetime competent charismatic leadership. Your 3 talent energy provides you with the social skills and confidence and the opportunistic skills needed for leadership, because you've got to have an element of social skills and confidence to be a leader. However, the 3 energy doesn't necessarily focus on leadership. And they have a potential, like I said, towards absorbing the emotions of others and emotional volatility, possible laziness, lack of confidence, procrastination, and lack of responsibility. And this all together, or even some of these elements, if you have them, can cause a problem when it comes to having secure leadership where people will actually have confidence in you and follow you. So to support that life path 8 of yours, it's important that you spend time studying, practicing, looking at what it takes to be a leader, all the requirements for strong leadership, and develop over time your ability to lead other people, but ethically and charismatically. You must achieve over your lifetime more balanced personal power and competence in your passion to ensure that you're responsible and ethical. So balanced personal power, competence, especially in your creative passions as a 3, and making sure that your actions are responsible and ethical and take into account everyone, not just the few. Oh, it went too fast then. Practical business, as I said, you're here to be an excellent practical business person, but you must ensure that you don't work too hard. You've got to be balanced. Like I said, balanced achievement, balanced work ethic. So you're here to be that excellent practical business person, but you've got to ensure that you don't work too hard. You've got to have that balance, You need time out for your family and your rest. So this suggests that you need to develop work skills, practical business skills, but you might struggle at times with your work-life balance, and you sometimes might work too hard, or you might even be fearful of getting out there and getting things done because you're here to be that practical business person. So you're either obsessed or an overachiever, or you're over nervous and you're not achieving, or you're not achieving your excellent business person skills. So you need to have that, develop that practical business skill, and a good work-life balance to go alongside it. Well, the 3 energy, as you know, gives you great entrepreneurial practical action skills. You're dynamic, you take action, you're an entrepreneur, you can be opportunistic, you're quite the salesperson. You could really move ahead in business. The 3 is quite good in business because of how dynamic and risk-taking and strong they can be within themselves. Dynamic, socially confident, and artistic, creative flair that is good for any entrepreneur. However, as you can be self-involved, you can be inconsistent in your work, remember. sometimes directionless or procrastinating because of low confidence, unable to focus, lazy, undirectioned, and you could struggle to bring that focus to your practical business and actually have a topic of your practical business. And for a 3, it's better that they work on their passions and interests because of their inconsistent work ethic. If they're not interested in what they're doing, they're not going to do it. So an expression number 3 needs to focus on their passion, really, because that is what will help them have the practical skills and the work ethic and the interest in being that practical business person. That's what's going to bring that about. And it's about focusing on their passions and using all those talents to achieve that business that they're here to achieve. But they're quite good at rest as well. I remember the expression 3 is quite inconsistent with their workload, and they're quite hedonistic. So the expression 3 is going to help the 8 to be less workaholic. So the workaholic tendencies of the 8 is going to be very much helped by the expression number 3 that is quite hedonistic and knows how to rest. Okay, but they need to make sure they balance that so that the expression 3 doesn't take over and stop them from working at all. It's balanced achievement, balanced work ethic, and developing and working hard to be that practical business person that you're here to achieve. And you've got the abilities. You're an entrepreneur by nature. So use that to be a practical business person and work in a balanced way with balanced achievement and ethics in this lifetime. Very, very important. You need to also, though, when you're working with the cutthroat world, the cutthroat business world, you've got to be strong, you've got to be resilient, you've got to be disciplined, and above all, you've got to be realistic. To be successful, you need to be strong, you need to be tough, and you've got to be able to cope with the ups and downs of this world. And of course, you can be a bit sensitive, and the 3 can be a bit emotionally sensitive and struggle with people's actions. And the Life Path 8 needs you to be tougher, more resilient, and more able to cope with the ups and downs of the world. But your 3 talent energy means you can be quite depressive and you can react to things. You can absorb negative things around you, and it can make you depressive, emotionally sensitive, and often very volatile because you absorb the emotions from others in your environment and you react quite badly at your worst to any form of criticism. This can impact your resilience in a big way if you allow it to. So support that Life Path 8. Decide to be strong. Make sure you're becoming aware of your emotional reactions, like I said earlier, analysing them, understanding the circumstances and the triggers for your emotions, and helping you to channel those emotions a bit more healthily and to be more resilient and strong when it comes to your emotional state and your absorption of emotions for others. You need to decide to be strong. You need to take positive but more rational, realistic action than emotional to help you cope with whatever life throws at you. And that's what you're working towards. So work towards being more tough, more resilient, and being able to channel your emotions and your reactions and your feelings, your deep emotional feelings more healthily for yourself and everyone around you. And that's going to make your leadership skills stronger as well when you're more charismatic with your expression rather than explosive. You're here to be brave. You're here to learn to be courageous, take risks to progress. And the 3 is going to help you there. Success comes from having the bravery to take risks. And that's very important for the 8 to do. So they might struggle with that. They might struggle with their bravery and their confidence, but the expression number 3 is going to help them there. So you need to be braver. You need to have the courage to take intuitive risks to progress. And your 3 energy will help you a lot. You're good at dealing with risk and adventure. In fact, the 3 is often attracted by adventure and risk and scary things that would terrify the life out of me. They're spontaneous, they're dynamic, they're changeable, and they're willing to not know what's going to happen. And they like the exciting way, but they could as well take silly risks. And these silly risks could, if they're not intuitive risks, could bring unwanted results for them if they're not focused and intuitive and making sure that the risks they take are not going to take them down the Swanee, basically. So support that Life Path 8 by being more smart, making sure that you're taking smart and intuitive risks, and being smart and intuitive with every risk you think about taking. You've got to be brave, you've got to be courageous and willing to take smart, intuitive risks in order to progress in this lifetime and build the abundance you need so that you can use it as a tool to help others in this lifetime. But if you want to succeed, some risk is needed. You're here to be organized and to have the management skills, not only to be able to lead, but able to organize the workload, organize people, manage the task, manage the people, set goals, and make sure those goals are set by organizing it yourself or delegating or making sure all the workload is organized. Now, you're here to do that. And because you're here to do that, you're going to struggle with that. You might struggle to organize and manage the workload. You might struggle to make things happen and set goals and define them and meet them, because that's why you're a life path 8. So your life path 8 needs you to develop your organizational skills, set and achieve your goals, make things happen in the world. Your 3 talent energy means that you're able to make things happen. But this tends to be untargeted, undirected, inconsistent and spontaneous, rather than organized and planned through set goals. So you could struggle here with your organization skills, being able to, set goals that are specific and then organize the workload. That could be something that you're going to have to work hard to achieve in this lifetime, is to have those organization skills and set goals and make things happen in a very organized and orderly way that you need in order to do that. So this might not be easy, well, a lot of things aren't, but support that life path 8 by working on being more focused, more organized, set more SMART goals, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant and timely. Make sure your goals are smart, that you have a time frame, that they're specific. Clarify your big picture so that you can set goals and look at the direction that you're willing to take to provide you with some direction to your action. Really, really important in this lifetime. Now, I hope you found my video really useful. If you haven't already subscribe because I'm always uploading new content, and you can request videos from me and you'll know when they're coming up. Smash that like button on my video because of course that's useful for me too. And if you do subscribe, make sure you click that bell icon because I'm always uploading and you're going to miss all my new uploads if you don't. If you want to have a reading, you can email me, katie@soulexplorer.net, or contact me on my social media because I do readings all the time for people, both short and long, so it depends what kind of reading you want. If you want to learn to be a numerologist, I teach numerology 1-to-1, and I've got a course on Udemy that I'm going to put in the description box. Or you might just want to request a video, which you can do in the comment box of any of my videos if you want me to make a video for you related to your life path and expression or soul urge. Then drop me a line. I'm more than happy to hear from you guys. But all these videos I do are meant to help you, but you've always got to follow your own intuition, because only your own intuition knows what's best for you. See you soon.